The Windsor Hotel that burned down yesterday had quite a history. Here to tell us more about that history is music historian John Anderson. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
So what did you feel when you heard the Windsor was burning?
Well, I was just devastated. You know, we're losing our music iconic establishments here. Last year, we lost the Club Morocco, and a few years ago, the Blue Note, the original Blue Note Cafe was torn down. And now to lose the Windsor, which was, I mean, for several decades, the home of the blues here in Winnipeg. And Winnipeg, we don't think of Winnipeg as a blues center. We're a long way from Memphis, Tennessee, and from the Mississippi Delta and the south side of Chicago. But we did have a thriving, and we still do have a thriving blues community here. And where they met and where the artists performed was at the Windsor Hotel.
We're looking now at one of those beautiful murals that's gone now. I wish they could have saved them.
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, my cousin Dougie Keith did the mural of Charlie Chaplin on the side of the building.
Really? Now tell us about that, because so many people have walked by that and thought that's Charlie Chaplin, but never realized perhaps what the connection is. What is the connection?
Yeah. It's a fascinating connection. The hotel opened in 1903 as the LeClaire Hotel. And in 1910, Charlie Chaplin was in town performing at the Empress Hotel on Main Street South, and he stayed there at the LeClaire Hotel. And then he came back in 1913 to perform again at the Empress and staying at the LeClaire. And it's during that time that he received a letter from Mack Sennett, who had the Keystone Cops and Keystone Productions, silent movies. And Mack Sennett was inviting Charlie Chaplin to come down to Hollywood and to make some silent movies. I mean, at that point, Charlie had only been a vaudeville performer. So Charlie wrote to his brother in New York a letter on the LeClaire stationery with the address on it, and 187 Gary Street. And that letter has been preserved by the Charlie Chaplin archives. That certainly shows that he was here in Winnipeg. And I think the Winnipeg Tribune did a little bit of the story about how entertaining he was on stage in his vaudeville shows. So that kind of put the place on the map. But it really wasn't a spot for a lot of entertainment. They had initially a gentleman's club where the beverage room would be. And I don't mean gentlemen's club like they had strippers or anything. It was just for gentlemen to hang out with each other. And it's really not again until we move into the 1960s that they start bringing in live music. And, there was nothing special about the place. It had some cool murals on the wall, but it was the music and the ambience of it that made it so unique. And the fact that it was the blues center for Winnipeg.
It had kind of a come as you are, everybody mixing together kind of accepting vibe as well. What are you going to miss most when you have your memories of the Windsor? What is it that jumps into your mind first?
I mean, I saw a lot of really good local performers there, like Deborah Lynn Neufeld, who a female blues artist from Winnipeg, who's great. And I also, there were a number of acts, some of them from your part of Canada where you come from, like Matt Minglewood and Dutch Mason. They performed there. The Downchild Blues Band, probably the best-known blues band from Canada, performed there. And a lot of other local artists as well. It also drew some of the big names from the Chicago blues scene, like Hubert Sumlin and Sam Lay and his band. And Sam Lay played with Muddy Waters. And Otis Rush, who held down Pepper's Lounge in the Chicago South Side. And what's interesting, too, is Big Dave McLean, who's the granddaddy of blues here in Winnipeg. He held weekly jam sessions there for 28 years. And Dan Aykroyd even played the Windsor Hotel once.
That's amazing. I wish I'd been at that show. John Anderson, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for watching the CBC Manitoba YouTube channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe. For the latest breaking news and top stories, download the CBC News app.